Welcome to the Studio Source, presented by Hello Studios. We're based in downtown Dallas and will act as your source of producing secrets, industry insights, and social media marketing tips. We'll even cover what our team is up to in studio. We are the faces of Hello Studios, and you're tuned in to the Studio Source.
Hi, Rudy.
Hello.
Welcome to the Studio Source.
Thank you. It's so good to be here in the blue room.
Yeah, Sci-Fi.
Close.
Sci-Fi.
So close.
I mean, we do want to add a little bit more blue to bring it more to life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys can't see, but on the other side of us, it is blue.
Yes, I can attest.
Yeah.
So we're so excited to have you here.
Thanks.
Let's just start off with you telling us what you do.
All right. Hi, my name is Rudy Rihner. I am the manager of the third floor here at the Dallas Public Library, the best floor. We have a total of 8. This one's the third, this one's the best. And yeah, I'm excited to show it off to y'all.
I don't know, it's an interesting question. When people ask me what do I do, I always have to maybe everyone does this, but I take a moment and my life runs through my eyes. And I think about it, and I'm like, I do a lot of things, maybe I should ask y'all, what do y'all think a librarian does all day?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I used to volunteer at a library, so...
You kind of know.
How old am I now? It was like 5 years ago. But, I mean, most of volunteering was literally just, here are the books, shelve them. And don't get caught reading them. I did do that once. They caught me. Yeah, I picked up Wonder, and I was so interested about it that I was in the back of the kids section, just totally zoned out for an hour, and I was like, oh darn it.
Sure, those librarians would have loved to have found you just sitting there reading.
Definitely, we're not pleased.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I should have been working.
What does a librarian do all day? In my opinion, when I used to go to the library, I went to the library so much as a kid. They did the books thing, put the books back. They're always on their computer.
Yeah.
It's like community outreach and event planning. I used to help out with the weekly events.
Yeah.
I did arts and crafts and stuff.
Yeah.
Computer training sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much. I don't want to say it's endless, but it kind of feels endless.
Yeah.
The possibilities of what you could be doing on any given day are limitless. And I guess that's a pitch for the Dallas Public Library, because our logo or whatever is limitless possibilities, but it's true for the job too. Every day when I go in, I usually have some kind of agenda, right? I hosted a trivia last night. So I might be working on something like that, or I might have to, I'm a manager, so I might be working on scheduling or purchasing books. A lot of times I'm handling staff interactions or patron interactions, and those can be all kinds of things. And it's a downtown environment. So, y'all are downtown.
Yeah.
But
It's so different than
yeah.
being anywhere else in the city.
Yes. Yeah, it's busy. Everyone from everywhere is coming in. It's fascinating. I love it, but it's totally different from a branch where you might the branches are kind of fun because you get to know these families and the kids, and you see them every day. And so, it's oh, here come the Johnsons or what, and you check up on how they're doing. Where at Central, there's so many people, so many new faces. It's harder to keep track.
Yeah.
We have our regulars, but it gets hard to pin down exactly what I do all day.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes it more better,
Yeah.
More better, because I think sometimes people get, they can get bored of what they do at work.
Yes.
But the fact that your day changes every day is kind of cool.
Yes, I am never bored. I will say
Nice.
that. Yeah. And I'm almost 10 years into it, and I'm still never bored.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So how did you end up at the Dallas Public Library? I know that being a librarian is very open-ended, and there's a specific set of schooling that has to go into it. You do a very quick speed run.
Yeah. To not get too into the nitty-gritty of it, because it depends on the city and their standards and all those things. But you typically, to be a librarian, you need a master's in library science. So that, that's often a requirement. sometimes you just need experience. My experience was that I originally wanted to be a teacher. I did English as my undergrad, and I wanted to be a teacher, and I did not like it. I was doing some tutoring, and it's not fun telling kids what to do and what not to do. And shout out to teachers everywhere, because y'all deserve more pay and more credit.
Amen.
It's such a hard job. But you really have to, you have kids that don't want to do something, and you have to force them to do it. And that's really hard. And so then I thought, well, maybe I'll get into publishing because I like books. And I started kind of looking into that, and it was mostly like desk, sitting at a desk all day, editing. And I'm more of a people person, so I started volunteering at a library, and I was speaking to a librarian, and she said, working here is like being a teacher, except I don't have to discipline anyone. And that really struck in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I can do a lot of the same things, but if somebody comes in and they say, I don't want to do this, I can say, see you later. Come back for the next thing if you want.
Yeah.
Rather than you have to do this, So at least the event side of it is what kind of drew me towards libraries, doing stuff like that. I used to work in South Dallas in the Highland Hills area, and there's a big population of teens that go to the library there. And for the longest time, I think the staff that were there were really struggling with what to do with them, because teens are the hardest demographic.
No, really.
How do you talk to
Really?
They're intimidating. They know your biggest insecurity and they just say it. They're wild. But for whatever reason, I can talk to them, and it's fine. And I'm a little nerdy, and I know they're nerdy. And so when I started there, I just thought, okay, well, these kids, all they want to do is read anime and play video games. So that's what we're going to do. So I would just do video game tournaments, and I would get, no lie, 60 plus kids coming in doing video game tournaments for hours. And it's kids that normally wouldn't talk to each other were exchanging numbers and hanging out. And the prize, I would just buy a $5 bag of chips or something, and I would say, whoever wins gets this bag of chips, and they would play their life depended on it and cheer each other on. I mean, so it's just a blast. And that kind of creativity of just there was something I wanted to do and my job let me do it is what I love about it. You can really kind of pave your own way of what you're interested in, and it's all based on community need, which it's just super fun.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I mean, you wouldn't think that a library would have video game tournaments. Even the library at our college had a big video game sector.
Yeah.
They were just starting to get into esports, which
Yeah.
is wild to me.
Yeah, they have
So
a whole
cool.
team now. So
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Growing up, I used to go to. I grew up in North Dallas.
Okay.
So I used to go to. Oh, are you from here?
No, I'm from New Orleans originally.
Oh, me
Wow.
too.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah.
What?
I moved here as a kid though.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I moved here about 10 years ago.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I wonder about the library culture in New Orleans.
I think.
Before I get to my next
Yeah,
question.
yeah. No, I don't know too much about it. I know
That's
they're.
really interesting.
Yeah. Well, the one I volunteered at, where the librarian I was talking about, that was in Algiers, the Algiers Library. So I volunteered there for maybe a year. But I've been to the downtown library and everything. It's pretty cool. They have a recording, music recording set up with instruments and a little sound booth and stuff. So and they do a zine fest every year that's really big. It's pretty cool. It's on my in the back of my head, if I ever move back, to maybe try to apply.
No,
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But like I was saying though,
Back to my thing.
no. I love that though.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm from there, I really didn't frequent the libraries a lot before I moved. So I moved here as a kid. I grew up in North Dallas.
Mhm.
And I always, my childhood library was the Farmers Branch Mansky Library, which I absolutely love. And it I used to go there all the time in the teen section, reading all the books, all the things. So I wanted to ask you, what library, was your go-to as a kid, and How do you think it shaped you today?
That's a great question, and I have a horrible answer.
Okay,
Because
just tell us.
yeah, I didn't go to
Yeah.
libraries as a kid at
Oh,
all.
wow.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have a very vivid memory of, I forget what grade it was, but I had to create a library as a school assignment. You know, like make one like on a little cardboard or whatever. And I went to my mom and my dad and I said, "How do I do this? I've never been to one," because they just never took me to one. And they didn't know because they're not big readers. And so they had my cousin who was older drive me to the library and look around. And I was honestly not that impressed, you know, not to put down that library, but you know, I mean, I was just a kid, and so I went and I just thought, it's kind of like quiet. There were some people sleeping, and you know, I just thought it was whatever. So I don't know, it's weird that because I don't like libraries weren't so integral to me growing up, and I'm almost jealous when I hear about other people because other people tell me like, yeah, I grew up going to libraries. It was so great. I went to all these programs. I met my friends. The librarians were like family, and I just didn't have that. You know, I guess I get to do that now from the other end. But yeah,
And help those people that are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that create those experiences. So
yeah,
that is interesting that you didn't go to libraries and
No.
you ended up at a library, which, hey, life happens. It happens that way. Did you have a library that you frequented?
Well, frequency is a strong word for it.
Okay.
I
I
have.
used to literally walk.
Oh
to the
yeah,
library.
mine was definitely not walking distance. I think mine is like maybe 5 miles away from the house. That's not walking distance. But my dad is real big on them, mostly because it's like, I pay money for this to run. Why would I not
Yeah.
Yep.
be a part of this? So I remember, I think I was like 6, maybe 5, and I got my first library card
Nice.
to put in my little play wallet, obviously. And we checked out movies because, duh, I didn't
Yeah.
want books.
You can check out so much at the library, which, if y'all don't know, you can do books, video games, magazines.
We don't have video games.
Oh, you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we don't. The Fort Worth Library does. That's a plug for Fort Worth, or they used to. I don't know if they're still doing it, but yeah, we never got video games off and running. We do programs, but we don't check out. Yeah,
Yours has vinyls,
we do have vinyl,
which is crazy to me. That's insane.
And-
That's a lot of trust.
musical instruments.
Yeah.
You can check out guitars and ukuleles and everything. You know,
It's, I mean, that's another interesting part of a library because people just think like books. But you can do music and all these other fun stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's like the thing about a library is literally we're just trying to give whatever resource the community wants or needs. And, you know, of course, like funding and like maybe safety, like there are all these factors that come in the way, but it's like if the community really wants it and advocates for it, we can, like our job is to try to get it for everyone, you know? So like the musical thing is so amazing. We have, like we're teaching free music lessons across the city right now, and you can get instruments for free. And it's, you know, to a lot of folks, it's like, wow, that's a great idea. But I mean, it's so awesome. And I think in 20 years' time, there's going to be some kid or something that makes it or gets big or something. And they're going to say, you know what, I learned it because I couldn't afford a guitar, but I got it at the library. Or I learned how to play music from Mr. Bill at the Vickery branch, you know? Like there are those cases where it's just people don't have access to something. And that's our whole vibe, is to try to get that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you could be that kid.
That could be you.
So how much input do you have on the third floor and with the events? And what have been your like favorite ones?
Ooh, that's a
Harder.
good question. How much input I have? I guess I have a lot. You know, I manage the floor, and there's a lot of trust within the system, like from my supervisors of what we can and can't do. So they trust me that I'm not gonna, you know, do anything. I can't think of what would be too ridiculous or whatever, you know. But
Start a cult.
yes, that we won't start a cult. But we get to be experimental, and that's what I like, and that's what I tell my team all the time is because, you know, when they're thinking about programs and things, they're always saying, well, what if nobody comes? What if we put together this big thing and nobody shows up? And I just say, well, then, you know, you go on to the next thing. Like you learn from it. And hopefully we, you know, didn't spend a ton of money trying to make it work. But if we did, we have like a marketing team, you know, we try to make it successful, and we have a really good track record. We do a program called Sci-Fi After Dark every year on my floor, and it's always just like nerdy themed. Last year, I think the theme was like time travel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. This year, it's like post-apocalyptic. So we're gonna have like a Fallout. If you play the video game Fallout or know the TV show, we're gonna have like a Fallout set up with like lots of mini games and have a movie playing, all this fun stuff. So there's lots of stuff like that. I mean, there are times where I don't get to do what I want to do, and usually like funding is kind of the big factor. Like you mentioned esports earlier. Like my dream when I started on the 3rd floor was to start an esports league across the city where like all the like kids and teens from the different neighborhoods across Dallas, because we have 30 branches all over the city, I wanted them to form little like teams at their branch and then have like a big tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to, you know, the folks that like run the parks here downtown, and they said we could use like the big screens they use for the movies. Yeah, to like do the tournaments. And then there's I'm blanking on their name, but there's a pro esports team in Dallas. I was speaking with them, this was years ago, but they said we could use their like big arena to have that. And I just thought, you know, what would be cooler for teenagers all over the city that are obsessed with video games, obsessed with these things, than to get the chance to like go play at like a legit esports arena. Like in my pipe dream, they would have like jerseys representing like their library team, and like that was like my pipe dream, and I couldn't get that off the ground. Just the funding, the logistics of it, it's just so much to get going. But I don't know, maybe someday that'll be a lot of fun.
Hope that happens
Yeah,
one
seriously,
day.
that sounds fun.
Yeah,
That sounds like a dream for like kids who like just don't have that kind of access.
I mean, when I was doing the tournaments in Highland Hills, a lot of the kids, they didn't have video game consoles. They would come in and like watch YouTube of like video game playthroughs because they love games, but they weren't able to play them. And so, you know, I'd bring in my Switch and just let them play for a couple hours, and they love it. I had one of the teens, he's a little older now. He came and visited me like 2 months ago because he found out I was here downtown, and he came and, you know, we were talking about it, and he was like, man, that was one of the best times, you know, of like growing up, because they had like, he said, I looked forward to it every weekend. Yeah. So that's, I don't know, that's great.
I want to ask though, like if somebody's watching and then they could help, how
Yeah.
could they help the library
Ooh.
with? Is that a loaded question?
I don't think so. Well, we have a friends group, the Friends of the Dallas Public Library. You can always donate with the Friends. You could join the Friends group and advocate for us to City Hall or do fundraisers, those kind of things. You know, shout out right now. I don't know when this episode would be available. We don't know.
Us either.
Yeah.
Okay. But be on the lookout for things.
Yeah.
We're actually having, if you're a fan of tattoos, we're a tattoo shop is partnering with us this weekend to do like a flash charity event. So they're going to do book tattoos at Midgard Tattoo, where if you get a tattoo, some of the proceeds go to the library. So
That's
Yeah.
actually really cool.
yeah, and those things help us to, you know, put on events and
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't have to be like a literary event to connect with the library, you know?
No.
And I don't think a lot of people know that.
No. It's really whatever you want. Like, yeah, music,
If it makes
sports.
sense.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I worked a lot with teens, but going back to like the teens at Highland Hills, like when I when I worked over there in the afternoons, when the kids would show up, a lot of times they had so much energy because they're kids, you know, and we'd get like 40 to 50 of them. And that's a lot of energy to work with at one time. Like, thinking, you know, once 4 o'clock hit, it was like this huge, like, ball of energy. And I think for a lot of folks, what they would think to do would be to, like, stop it, to calm it down and say, like, hey, kids, if y'all can't sit down and read quietly, you have to leave the building. But, like, that's not how it works, you know? Like, if there's my visual is like if there's this flaming fireball, like, shooting at the library, if you put up a brick wall to stop it, you're just going to cause an explosion. Like, those kids are going to get mad. They're going to dislike the library, et cetera, et cetera. So my mind was, what if I just redirected that fireball? And what I did was I got a bunch of Frisbees and, like, soccer balls and stuff. And we had a huge field. So we would go, like, play football, play Frisbee. We did, like, lots of track and field, like, little events and, like, obstacle courses I would build for them. And, I mean, they loved it, like, you know, because they're kids. They have all this energy. So if we weren't doing video games, we were throwing the football, which even then you're like, the librarian's outside throwing the football right now. But
the fact is, like, library equals community.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, no, my library, we had a garden, like a community garden at one point. And every year they would do, like, they would have a helicopter come through and show it off to the kids, and the fire truck would go in and stuff like that. It'd be like a career kind of fair, but it was really aimed at, like, the 5-year-olds, you know? It was a lot of fun. You know, they would do a lot of things.
Cool.
A lot of cultural events, too.
Wow. Even my favorite library didn't do any of these cool things y'all are talking about.
Okay, so we've been talking about all of this really cool stuff, what the library does outside of books or, like, indoor activities. But we went on a tour of your floor, and you showed us some of your favorite spots. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Sure, yeah. I can do that all day. Well, the big one that comes to mind is the Story Center. It's a creative space on the 3rd floor. It's amazing. It's appropriately named the Creative Space. It's got recording equipment, 4 microphones. It's got a Mac computer. It's got a couple of DSLR cameras, green screen, keyboard. Folks use it for recording music, for getting a podcast started, taking headshots. A lot of people use it as kind of like a learning space.
It's totally free. That's the biggest thing about it that always impresses people. All you need is a library card. And to do some trainings, but they don't take very long. Get the library card, do some trainings, and then you can come in here and use and learn this wonderful equipment, all these things. Yeah, it's really special. So
I love that space. It's wonderful. Usually people don't believe it's real until they see it. And when they see it, they're like, wow, this is phenomenal. Yeah. Another spot I love on our floor is our board game collection. I love that because I was instrumental in creating it. We had a lot of puzzles for a while before I got there, and people love just sitting in the library doing puzzles. They love doing it. And so we thought about, a board game collection. And it's all donated, which is wonderful, but it's been fantastic. Right now we have a gentleman who has made it his goal to learn and play every single one of our games, which is like over 200 games. Oh. I don't know. Yeah, he's only like 40 games in right now.
That's still more than I thought he would be.
Yeah. He's opened most of the packages because some of the games hadn't been opened yet. Well. Yeah, but he's working his way through it. I know we also have a huge sci-fi collection, which is my baby. I love the sci-fi fantasy stuff. I do a sci-fi book club. So, yeah, that's wonderful. The Dallas Poet Laureate is officed on our floor. If you didn't know Dallas has a Poet Laureate, we do. Currently, it is Dr. Mag Gabbert. She's wonderful. She's an amazing poet, amazing person, and she's always doing events all over the city, within and without the library. So, yeah, be on the lookout for her.
So I wrote down this very specific thing.
Okay.
Because I was interested in it. But you mentioned sci-fi, your love of it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about our Cthulhu guy that's hanging out there, the one that you decorate for different holidays and stuff.
Yes.
Was there another Lovecraftian horror that could have possibly been not Cthulhu? It could have been anybody else. Because, I know you have, like, Mothra up there, too. Is there anyone else in the running?
to replace.
Does that mean,
Cthulhu?
yeah, to
Or
be the
to
third
add,
floor
right? Yeah.
mascot kind of deal?
Well, I don't know if it's not Lovecraftian, but we do have a Bigfoot costume,
Oh,
and we haven't done it yet, but my goal is to like stuff it with like get like a mannequin body and put the costume on it and then kind of suspend him like Mission Impossible style over one of our sections. But we're gonna need a few I think we need like a day or two off from the public so that we can get up and hang him in the sky.
is that a thing? Y'all do y'all close like floors sometimes?
We do a staff day every year. Just the whole library system. We all meet for, like team building, those kind of things. It's usually around February. So maybe if you come after February, we'll have a suspended Bigfoot. That's the next. Did you have a suggestion though?
Oh, no. I didn't.
Oh, I have a list.
Yeah, how'd you know? No. Oh, I mean, Bigfoot. I'm just thinking about your floor and where he
Yeah.
could go. He's not really sci-fi, but maybe over. I don't know if is he fantasy?
On the
Is he
corner.
horror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely fantasy.
Yeah.
A little bit of sci-fi, no?
I don't know. I think he's conspiracy theory. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He can go by where the...
What is it called? Cryptids. There you go.
Yeah, we have like a folklore kind of section that maybe he could hang
out
over.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Do little footprints and stuff.
What are some other parts of the library you find interesting?
Yeah, so there are lots. Again, it's 8 floors, but the 4th floor is my second favorite floor. That's the art, music, movies floor. Very cool, very colorful. That's where, the music classes I mentioned, you can take the music classes there, rent instruments. Usually, like if you were there right now, there's probably a music class going on. And so it's really cool to see like kids and adults learning. Additionally, they have a fiber arts studio where you can learn to sew or do some sewing, fiber arts, craft work. That's kind of outside of my wheelhouse, but they're all great and can, instruct folks with that.
All right, and so this is the Fiber Arts Studio. It's another one of our creative spaces, similar to the Story Center I showed y'all on 3rd floor. This one is all about working with fiber arts, fabrics. There's a number of sewing machines in here and kind of like the Cricut cutting machine. I don't know quite as much about this one, but it's awesome. People are really into it. And we're starting to do more kind of like fun and even resourceful programming around this kind of stuff, like clothing repair, backpack repair. We recently did a stuffed animal hospital event, which was adorable. But yeah, there's things around like sewing and working with crafts and fiber arts, those kind of things. You can learn it and do it here.
There's also the vinyl collection, which is pretty cool. You can check out vinyl records there, which I've learned is like kind of a popular like date thing. I've seen a lot of couples that are like doing a day out downtown and they're like, let's go get a vinyl record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a cool idea.
Are they expensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
To the library, babe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, I'm going to throw a wrench at you.
Okay.
Name the floors from 1 to 8.
Can you?
Like the subject?
Yeah, because I mean, like we have
the
arts,
subject
music, and then
Oh.
language
that's easy.
religion kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Okay. So first floor is the downtown branch. First floor acts like its own little mini branch. So it's got a little bit of everything. The second floor is the kids' floor. All the kids' stuff. Story times, all those kind of fun events. Third floor is the best of the best. That's my floor.
Obviously.
Fiction, language learning, religion, philosophy, all that good stuff. Fourth floor, like I said, arts, music, movies. Fifth floor is business and technology. It's a lot of your sciences. They also have the sports section now. I believe that's because they had like a passionate person there that was really into sports,
Yeah,
and they were
sorry.
like, "We'll take it."
Seems a bit odd to put
Yeah.
it there, but cool.
Sixth floor is like workforce skills and like sociology. They do a lot of events on the sixth floor. they have a seed library. I should mention that. You can check out seeds to grow plants. Yeah.
How does that work?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but like, I mean, isn't
How
the
do you
basis that
return
you,
the seed?
you give them back?
The idea is when you grow your plant, when it produces seeds, you would bring us some of those
Ooh,
seeds.
That's
Okay.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
kind of like a community garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't, I mean, we're not going to, we don't,
Hunt
you just
down for
take
it,
them.
Yeah,
we
you
don't.
just you show up to their house and dig up their plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was due.
Yes. 6 weeks overdue. Yeah. Okay. So 7th floor is the archival floor. It's like a little mini museum. Very cool. There is an original copy of the Declaration of Independence on that floor.
Wow.
Yes. Which is very cool.
Like countrywide or state?
Countrywide.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like-
okay.
It's not like the one,
Yeah.
but when the one, when the Declaration was signed and everything, they made a limited number of copies, and we have one of those original copies, which, you can go see.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. 7th floor is cool. A lot of stuff's in the vaults in the back, but there's some cool stuff. We found this is cool. We found a poison book like about a year ago, and by poison I mean it was painted green with a type of green that had arsenic in it, because I guess that was more of a standard back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think they even have like a few books like that. So we kind of have like a poison book collection. They have to be kept in these like plastic sleeves, and it was a kid's book.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to do some research to be sure, but
Yeah, it's like low level. It's like whenever you go thrifting and you find like old vintage plates and pots and stuff, you really should get those tested.
Yeah.
Because it could have like uranium or arsenic or a lot of lead that you shouldn't be drinking. Things like
A
that.
kid's book.
yeah, we didn't always know what we were painting and putting on things back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah. Makes sense, but wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the 8th floor is the history floor and genealogy. So if you want to find out about your family history, they are the pros. They can help you do that. That's mostly what it's used for. A lot of folks come and, they want to know who their ancestors were and things like that, and they can try to help you out.
That might be
Nice.
helpful now that 23andMe is
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Oh.
just
Yeah.
whatever
Is
they're
it?
going through.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what they're going
I
through.
never trusted it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know your stuff.
Thank you.
You passed the test. It's not like we would have told you that the answers were wrong anyways, but you passed the test.
Thank you.
Because we don't know.
Mm.
So this book club
Yes.
you've talked about.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
Tell us the top 5 books from that book club that you have enjoyed the most.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I've been doing this book club for a number of years, so it might be hard to remember.
Whichever ones stand out up
Okay.
here, up top.
We did one recently called The Good House by Tananarive Dew. It's a longer name to say. But it was like a haunted house, horror kind of vibe. She's really cool. She's an author that I think goes under the radar, but maybe she's like one of those, like, your favorite author's favorite author kind of thing,
yeah.
People like Stephen King and all these other authors are like, they've given her high praise, but she's never
Mm-hmm.
like gone up, like exploded, I guess, in popularity on their level. But yeah, Tananarive Dew, The Good House, I really, really loved it. Let's see.
We can lower it to just 3
Yeah, it
books
doesn't
if
have
it's
to be
easier.
bad.
Well, The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. I am very partial to Ursula K. Le Guin. I love her books. It's all sci-fi. She's, in my opinion, the best writer. We've read a lot of books by Octavia Butler. Octavia Butler's awesome. She wrote Kindred and The Parable of the Sower, Bloodchild. All those books are epic. We did one called The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, if I'm saying that correctly. And that was awesome. That was kind of like a fairy tale based on a lot of different cultures, but kind of gone awry, like pretty adult, but very good. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are you reading right now?
Yeah, you brought it.
Oh, yeah.
Show and tell.
Well, I always bring a book just in case, like if I'm just sitting around for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know.
Very librarian of you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of why I'm like, you didn't grow up in libraries, you carry books. That's
Yeah.
like a library kid thing.
Yeah, you know, I always hear about this statistic, which if you're a parent or you might be a parent someday, but kids are more likely to read. I forget what the numbers are, but just generally, kids are more likely to read if there are just books in the house. Like you don't have to force it on them. You don't have to put it in their hands even. If you just have books around, kids are way more likely to read. And neither of my parents were readers at all. They still are not. I love you, Mom and Dad, but you don't read. And that's okay. But for whatever reason, we had like a little bookshelf in our house. And I remember being a kid and just getting bored. And so when I was bored, I started just grabbing the books down and reading them. And then, I don't know, it just clicked, as things do. And so I think because I hear about that statistic sometimes that like, just keep the books around and the kids will find it. Sometimes parents always mean well, but sometimes I've seen parents, you know, getting books for their kids at the library and they're like, you can't have that one book because it's got too many pictures. You have to have one of these books. This is a real book. You need to read this, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, all I can do is just say, like, I can help you find whatever you're looking for, you know. But there's a part of me that's screaming, like, just, like, let your kid read whatever they want, you know, or, like, just get a few and have them around because kids get bored. They get into things and they're going to get into a book sitting around. They just are.
In this day, you know, phones are heavy. Social media is heavy. Do you have any, like, idea how we can, because I always think about, like, being a parent one day or whatever. I always, so do you have any idea of how we can
Encourage paper books over
encourage
ebooks.
books over ebooks or social media even, or, and I like all the things you said about, like, bringing that to the space itself. But, like, in your case, you can't do that with the video games and things like that. So, like, how can we keep kids into reading? Even with, because I'll tell you this, at home, like, we always try to get my little brother to read.
Yeah.
He does it. He's like, no, TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? And you don't have to have, like, this.
Yeah.
Answer,
Oh, yeah, I don't.
Absolutely too abstract.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, people are always just going to get into what's available for them. And so that's why I like to bring a book around, because I have my book and I have my phone, and I'll do either one. But if I've got the book with me, I'm more likely to read it. And so I really think just having it around is helpful. Eventually, like the TikTok and stuff, it's all addicting. But like eventually maybe he'll get a little bored. You know, he's seen it all, and there's just like a cool book sitting next to him, and he's like, well, I guess I'll read this. I got nothing else to do. You know? Yeah. Good luck out there. But that would be my guess. And just like, it doesn't have to be a chore. It just, like, I have friends that I love, but they're so highbrow and they're a little stuck up. And they always say, yeah, I read this book. I don't know what I got out of it. I don't know what I learned. It didn't do a lot for me. Those kind of things, which that's important for a lot of people. But you know what? It's also fine just to read for fun. Read some, like, goofy stuff. Read some sexy stuff. You know, like, read whatever you want. And you look a lot cooler when you're reading a book, waiting in line, than you do just looking at your phone. People will think you're cooler. They will think you're smarter.
Very mysterious.
Yeah. It's like, what's he doing?
Little sweater in your book.
Yeah.
Substantial.
Yeah.
So we have a fun little game for you.
Okay.
And Dylan's going to lead this.
Yeah, I want both of y'all to try and do this.
Okay.
Because I know that you're not as avid a reader, so it'd be interesting to see if A normal person, quote unquote, could get this too.
Do you have the answers here?
Uh-huh. So don't look. Stop it.
Okay.
She's cheating.
Okay.
All right, so this is more or less kind of like a word association kind of thing. What we're
Okay.
doing is very badly summarized book plots.
Oh, I love this.
Mhm.
We did this as part of book trivia last night.
Yeah,
Yeah, we called it Books Described Badly.
exactly. Things like
Okay,
that.
so we're gonna win.
Yes,
Got it.
some of
Wow.
these I most definitely stole, and some of them I made up my own. So
Sweet,
we'll see.
okay.
And it's, I mean, most of these are pretty, in my opinion, my avid reader opinion,
Yeah.
common knowledge. So
My library reading stopped at high school. So let's see how I do.
See, I feel like I'm going to get embarrassed if I don't know like any of these.
No, don't.
some of these are easy.
Okay.
We start out with a really, really easy one. Our first one. Boy gets kidnapped by a hairy man and has to fight another grown man with no nose. What do we think?
I know it, but I'll...
Give her a second.
I definitely don't know it. So tell me.
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh God! No, that's blatant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Just at the movie. Yeah, 7 parts.
Yeah.
That is also the book.
The book also, there were 7 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Second one. A girl who isn't like other girls falls in love with a creepy, pale, dead man and a dog.
Oh, yeah.
I would have added another adjective, but it would have given it away way too easy.
They made some movies.
Mhm.
The first one has a famous baseball scene.
An awesome soundtrack.
hmm
Very blue. Wow.
The main actor went on to become Batman in the most recent Batman movie.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
50 Shades of Grey.
No. What?
Although it's
How did-
isn't 50 Shades, it's like that was like fan fiction of Twilight.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is...
Twilight.
And Twilight is fan fiction of My Chemical Romance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
I watched Twilight and I read all the books. It's kind of crazy. That's
That you
actually
didn't
crazy
get that,
I
yeah.
did not
If
get
I
that.
included Sparkly, would have helped more.
If you would have said
Creepy dead sparkly man.
vampire, but I think that would have gave it away.
Immediately, yeah. Okay, our third one. A girl who's weirdly good at archery fights to the death because the government can't think of another solution to prevent war or rebellions.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was so shocked that I was immediately going to be like, no. Okay, our fourth one. A grown man is obsessed with killing a kid who can fly.
E.T. Phone Home.
No. Fantasy, children's book.
I don't know if I know this one.
He had a
kid who
whole
can
thing about his
fly.
shadow. He never ages. He's got a friend.
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good job.
Our fifth one. A scientist give life to old flesh. The flesh is ungrateful.
Huh.
Horror written by a woman.
Mary Shelley.
Go ahead.
Frankenstein.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have got it.
Our sixth one. This is a classic.
Okay.
So I expect you.
Okay.
A mean old man hallucinates overnight and gives out Christmas bonuses in the morning.
Grinch.
Wow. No.
What did you say it again?
A mean old man hallucinates overnight. He gives out Christmas bonuses in the morning.
I can hear myself blink.
A Christmas Carol
Yeah.
with Scrooge.
Guys,
Tiny
I've
Tim.
never seen that or read it.
You didn't even watch the Muppets version?
My
Mm.
family was not like that Disney classic type of thing, so I missed out on all of that. I
Mm.
hate that for me, and I'm gonna
Mm-mm.
try to get my kids on it.
Mm-hmm. The Muppet version,
Mhm.
especially. The Muppet version of anything, honestly.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
No, I love the Muppets.
Okay. Our seventh one.
Mhm.
A tale of near kidnappings, bribery by Turkish candy, and children leading armies.
I was gonna say that one where they're stuck in the forest.
I mean, yeah, but I need more. There's so many books like that.
Can you read the description again?
A tale of near kidnappings, bribery by Turkish candy, and children leading armies.
What's that one where they're all stuck in the thing?
There's a lion.
Oh, A Witch in a Wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Narnia.
Yeah. I put both of them down as correct answers because it's either the first book or just the series.
Right.
Our eighth one. Prehistoric monsters were resurrected and everyone's surprised that they can't control them.
hmm I loved this book.
It was so good.
Yeah. People sleep on the book.
It's amazing.
'Cause the movie's great too, but
Go.
Jurassic Park.
Oh gosh, I actually love the Jurassic Park.
You should read the book.
Yeah.
You really
Okay,
should.
I
Yeah.
probably would like because the Jurassic Park movies are kind of bad.
The
Ooh,
first
don't
one-
hurt me.
Yeah,
No,
you're
okay,
gonna
here's the
get-
thing. The way that people are with books where I didn't learn anything about it, is not how I am about movies. I don't care if it's a bad movie. I'll watch them for fun. I love Jurassic Park.
The movies too.
All 5 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't consider one of them.
No, I go see the new ones, and I'm like, I like the older ones better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all so good. Okay. Our 9th one. An old maritimer really hates a whale.
Castaway.
My God, Kirsten.
Arr.
Do you have any book lists at all?
No, except for like class. And I read like the kid. Remember, I was going to the library as a kid, reading like Judy Blume and things.
You'll hate yourself when you hear the answer.
Moby Dick.
There you go.
I just had to think.
Okay, our last one. An eccentric drug addict makes condescending remarks to pretty much everyone, but mainly the police.
Drug addict.
Eccentric.
But mainly the police.
That's a hard one. Give us a hint.
Detective?
Oh,
1920s-ish.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's it. I'm going to say we'll be generous
Mm.
and say 50-50, even though I know Rudy had like 8 of them. For sure.
No, I definitely lost.
I thought you did
But
great. Yeah.
I surprised myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. That was a fun game.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
liked it.
I tried.
All right. Well, we're coming to a close, but Halloween is approaching. Any fun events that the library is doing?
Yeah, we have a Beetlejuice
Oh.
party on October 19th. I'm not involved in this one, although I'm very supportive. I know they're going to have some dancing, creepy cocktails, some trivia, some games, and it's an evening event. I think it's 7 to 10 at the Central Library. I believe they're doing what's called a reverse haunted house, where the visitors come in whatever costume you deem is scary, and you come and scare us.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So reverse haunted house. When it was pitched to me, I was like, "What are y'all talking about?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of fun, kind of a fun idea. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out. But even if that's not your jam, it's a Beetlejuice thing. I think we're also partnering with another tattoo shop to do like Beetlejuice flash tattoos.
Nice.
So yeah, that's one of the bigger kind of Halloween things coming up.
I love that. All right.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we
thank you
didn't
for
talk
having me.
about that you desperately need to share?
Oh, so much. No. All I will say is don't sleep on the library. We're awesome. There's so much you can do for free. And the coolest thing about the library is it's what have y'all heard of the third place? Like as an idea, the third place, it's like everybody has a third place. Places 1 and 2 are your home, your work. But you probably have a third place. It might be your favorite bar, your favorite coffee shop, your friend's house, your partner's house. You probably have your third place. The library is a third place for so many people, or can be, because somebody will call me out, somebody will have an idea, but there's nowhere else in maybe the world, but definitely in our country, where everyone can go and enjoy everything there for free. Especially inside, because you could say a public park, but
Yeah.
there's nowhere. You could be a billionaire, you could be unhoused, you could be whoever, but you can come in and enjoy everything to the same extent as anybody else. And there's nowhere else that I know of in the world like that. So it's special.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's so beautiful. Well, I've been Kirsten, and that's
Dylan.
and this is the Studio Source. We'll see you next time.